Anyone? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so I think Josh has kindly provided you guys with a link to actually download the tool via the official Google Chrome App Store. Once installed, it'll look something exactly like this, very similar to the Profit Strategy Finder, and you see a whole heap of settings. I'll briefly go through some of these settings. I'll explain my methodology of getting some good results and also some tips of how to actually further refine them from the backtester, because there are some limitations on the backtester. And also we'll talk about a couple of the things that you can do to actually make your results better in reality rather than past results. One of the key things you will notice, and I won't talk about this, is I think Josh has highlighted this is a license-based what's it called, Finder. So you can download and install the free Finder, and it will run one say iteration at a time. But to get best use of this tool, I do recommend trying to probably try it out for a month or 3 months. And you can run multiple iterations with multiple combinations, and running the combinations is probably what's going to be saving you the time and also finding you the best valuable settings. And you'll probably understand that when I go through the actual what my methodology of fighting the settings are, and they will quickly make sense to you. So anyway, this is what the tool looks like. There's two ways you can run this tool. So you can use something called as random iterations, where you can put a quantity in there. So let's say I want to run the tool with 1,000, and you can just say, actually, I don't want to run all the way from what's it called? It's a stupid number, but in theory, let's just make that silly. So let's say I have don't have much RAM in my PC, and I don't want to run complete 1 to 100. I want just a random 50 combinations to be run. I can put 50 in there. I can put 1 to 100, and then I can hit run on that, and it'll run. What you'll see is it'll change random numbers here will be generated, and it'll do 50 combinations as per the from value and the to value. So that's one way of running the system. The way I actually prefer it is actually and I have a decent PC to do this, is actually put a whole range in and let this run overnight, come back, and then I can download the settings and look at what the best settings are, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But what I want to go through in this setting is actually how do you get something like this, where if you look at this, this is very much and the backtester is saying 75, nearly 75% profitable. But if you have a look at this setting, what I've got in here, what you have is a stop loss at 1.5 and a take profit of 2. So this is a type of strategy I prefer. So there's lots of different strategies you can have, but what you want to kind of do is, first of all, set the backtester to a suitable range. What I mean by that is, there's loads of types of ways of setting this up. You can use the Finder, but what I do is I go into the actual date, and I normally go back 3 months only, 2 to 3 months. Now I have seen people go back a year back, but the problem with that is markets change, conditions change, trends change. So if you do go back 1 year and you use backtesting results based on that, what you'll find is that you might have a bot that works overall good, but during some market conditions it goes to shit, and then when it goes back into the right conditions, it's profitable again. My strategy is normally to find based on the current trend and the current market conditions, get a bot that's actually up and running for this market, and try to get as many streaks or profitable streaks from now. So what you find is I'll set the range normally 2 to 3 months back, and then I'll pick the next bit is what type of risk and reward strategy you want. So this is the bot that you need to run then. So ideally you can put some random numbers in, but what I tend to do is I either look for a 1-to-1 strategy. So depending on the coin, something like ETH, it moves quite a percentage, so you might start off with 1.5 and 1.5. In this case I've went 1.5 and 2, and I'll explain that why I've done that. But to get the most of it, let's just say 1.5 and 1.5, yeah. So that's a 1-to-1 strategy, yeah, and that's still quite profitable. But I'll explain how you get something higher profitable later on. The key thing is, the backtester, as Joe explained to you quite a while back, is he only works on confirmed, which is good. In this instance, you can do long and shorts, but ultimately we'll get to longs, and I'll explain why I've done this. But you see, I've turned everything else off. The reason I've done this is because I want to get the optimal settings for the classic entry. And the first thing you guys want to work out is for both longs and shorts. Let's do both, yeah. You know, longs and shorts. What is the best time frame? Yep. So what I normally tend to do is, you know, I'll talk about. I'll take some questions in a bit as well, yeah. You know, I refine the ATR settings. Now, the ATR settings that we normally look at is, let me go to the ATR setting, is these one. So it's the ATR minutes and the ADX lengths. And I'll just give you a quick tool. So why I meant that this is quite powerful in terms of combination is, you know, you can say actually I'm running this in a 50-minute strategy. So what you tend to do is find a trend around the 1 hour mark, or let's say the 2 hour mark. But what you might want to do is actually I want to see what the ADX combination is between 10 to 12. And now if I hit, now this is, you know, so if you don't want to run this overnight, because if you think about it, that's 2 times 60, yeah, or it's actually 3 times 60, which is what's it called, 900 combinations. So it's not a lot, but you know, if I had a wider range, this can quickly add up. I can use the random iteration. In this instance, I can hit run, and what you see there is it'll start running the ATX settings. Yeah, so it'll go up. It started from 60, it'll go to 6, blah blah blah. And the reason I do this first off is because once this is run, I will be able to see for both my longs and shorts what the most optimal ATR setting is for a classical entry. Yep. So let's pause it there because I just want to make sure that everyone's following me for now. I might let this run in the background. I don't know if you'll finish in time. Yeah, you probably won't. Let's stop this. Let's do a smaller setting, yeah, so we can see some results, and I'll take some questions. Let's run that, yeah. So if I just have a look at chat, have we got any questions from you guys? How do I get to chat again? I forgot. Chat. No, hi guys. Okay. So you know, while I'm rating this run, guys, have you got any questions for me? Why I'm running the ATR settings? So you know, the purpose of trying to run the ATR settings is for both longs and shorts, and a 1-to-1 setting is I'm trying to work out for this coin pair on the 15-minute chart, what's the best long running trend, you know, the longer time frame trend. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So you guys are following me for now, yeah? So this is one of the cool features that I like about this tool. Put this down. So as you can see, I've run the ATR settings in combination, and and like I said, the combination can be only done with the premium version, and it's quite useful because now you can see that based on my 15-minute chart, what it's telling me is actually 62 and 11 is a good combination. And if I click on this button here, bang, it puts it right into the settings automatically. So that's set that up for me. You know, I've now got a 15-minute, and it's telling me based on my, you know, shitty selection of the parameters, based on a 1-to-1 setting. Yep. So 1-to-1 setting, that this is the good setting. Now, obviously, what you can do is you can download this to CSV. You know, and I probably won't show you that, but this will give you the complete range and everything, and then you can look at all the filters in terms of max down draw, etc. Yeah, so that's kind of step one. Once you've now worked out the ATR settings, there's kind of 2 things you guys can do, and this all comes down to, you know, the strategies I sort of do. So what I tend to do is I will save this, yep, and then I'll make 2 copies. I'll make a copy for shorts, and I'll make a copy for longs. Yeah, you see, I said I'd done it in 8, but actually I do it twice. So the reason I do this is because what you want is base settings. Am I still? You guys still hearing me? Yeah, you guys are. I thought you lost me for a second. That's Discord pumping away. So what you'll see is in this instance, you know, so this is longs and shorts running, yeah. So you see a long and a short. What you might find is if you have a list of trades, yeah, performance summary, you can see that actually in this instance, actually shorts is actually making a loss here. Longs is actually making a better win rate. But what you want to do is you don't want to lose this ATR settings, because what you don't want to do is have longs firing at the same time as shorts, because that will mess up your performance. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the strategy finder, backtest, and I'm going to say actually now I want to refine the longs. So I know this is a good ATR settings for the long, yeah. So I'm going to save this as my long setting. Then I can do clever things like I can do in the length. I can say let's refine the length for the longs because I want to understand what the best length is. Yeah, let's do 5 to 1. You know, this time I'm going to show you a random iteration because I don't want to wait that long, and I hit run on that. So what this is going to do is I've just said on my longs, based on my ATR settings, based on my 50-minute timer, I know I got some good settings. I've just put some random iterations for the length. So this is looking at the what's it called, trend length, and it's looking at the pause level, and it's going to run through 100 combinations for me, which is probably too much for this time limit anyway. But I'll try to talk as much as it's running in the background, and it's going to say you're going to find the best settings for this ATR settings for my longs only. And you can see in the background you saw like 1,000, you know, 1,500 net return there. Oh, there's a nice one there, 2,000. So it's doing all of this, it's saving all of this in the background. There's a good one there. So what this is proving is that actually I got a good base ATR settings, and now my trend settings is trying to find the best what it can get for the what's it called, long settings. Now as I said, this is my long setting. I would save this and then do the same thing using shorts. Yep. So that way you can have two settings with the same time frame using the same ATR settings, because your long-term trend, obviously if you look at this, yeah, so you can see the longs are being selected there. You would hope to see some shorts in the red area, yeah. Let's see how it's got up to. How many iterations is running? We'll wait a bit. While I do that, I think what Josh did share with you, and have a look at this as well. So I've just found this online, free tool called Smart Save. It's a free tool that, you know, no way related to us, but it's on the Google extension app store. Download it and install it, because what it lets you do is actually save any of the results the strategy finder finds. So look, that's a nice one, 3,000 there, yeah. So in 3 months, if you put a grand in on your longs only, you would have made £3,000. You know, all of us would have loved that, yeah. If I see how quickly it's doing it, let's wait a few minutes. While I do that, I'll just go into chat. Have we got any questions so far? Yep. Yeah, so did you see how I did that, mate? So rather than updating it manually, okay, so I'll show you. So this is one of the cool features you'll see. Yeah, so you can update the chart, what's it called, manually. But one of the cool things I like about this tool is you can just click the button after the end result and it automatically updates the chart. So I'll show you. Let this finish, and I'll show you how that works. Yeah, I clicked the number one. Yeah, and that saves me a hell lot of time. Yeah, so it's not because you have those two options. So you can click on that if you want a short option, and then you can use that separate tool that I showed you to actually do that. Yeah, or you can download it to CVS and then you can do everything manually yourself. There is an advantage of doing it to CVS, but if I have like results, so look at that. So I started off with something like a 1,200. Now it's, you know, we refined it up to 3,362%. With something like a drawdown of 30%. That's bloody good, yeah. So you know, if you don't want that with a big drawdown, that looks to me better, because percentage wise that's not too far off. That's telling me, you know, if I click on that, yeah, that's telling me that 3 out of 4 trades on a 1-to-1 setting is gonna win, and it's also gonna have a drawdown of what, 21%. That's bloody good for a lev 10, yeah, with the 1-to-1 settings. But so, you know, what we've done so far is we've refined the ATR, we've refined the trend settings for the longs. You know, I'm not doing this full, you know, because I want to save you guys some time, so I'm just going through some methodology on a long chart. The other next thing you can do is, this is where now you can get clever with, you know, what's it called, Jurs tool. So this is up to you now. You can start now enabling unsqueeze entries, and by enabling unsqueeze entries, I'm not going to do this because of time limits. You can now run the BB squeeze limits, yeah. So you can see using your trend settings. So you got a good base setting. So what this is saying is, in what's it called, 2.5 months, I've had 21 trades. Remember, this is long only. You'd have to do the shorts only, so you probably end up with what, 41 trades, so 2 trades a day. Because I'm quite slow, you can decide, actually I want a quicker firing rate and have a lower TP, but that's up to you. But I prefer 1-to-1. Yeah, this is up to you guys. How do you want to create? Do you want to create a scalping bot? Do you want to create a long-term what's it called, higher take profit bar, or do you want something like with a 1-to-1 rating? Yeah, that's for you guys to actually come up with. One other tip I do want to give to you guys, and this is what I tend to do, yeah, and this is one of the most powerful things. So we worked out by looking at this, yeah, is that using a 1-to-1 setting, yeah, I have a 76.9% profitable trade. What I do after this is, and this looks like nearly a good settings, is I always tend to do this. So I'll do something like this at the end of it. So 0.5, 2.1, I'll do the increments by 1, and I'll run that, yeah. The reason I run this is one of the things that the backtester can't simulate, yeah, or take advantage of is take partial profits or trailing stops. Now, say you've done all this good stuff, yeah. This is going to take me ages. I don't know why I've done this, yeah. But you've done all this good stuff, and you got a 76% profitable strategy on a 1-to-1 rating, yeah. So your stop loss is 1.5. Your take profit is 1.5. Now, let's say you run this, and ideally I run this at the end. And the reason I run this is I download this to CSV, and the reason I do that is because you might find in a strategy that you got with a 1-to-1, even though it's 75%, what you find is actually in the losses that you do have, actually the TP managed to reach something like 0.7% or 0.9% instead of the 0.5%. In those instances, it went back and then hit the stop loss. But because you have that additional information, what you can do is you can now refine your strategy when you actually put it into the full tool to say, actually, when I hit 0.9%, I want to take partial of 55% of my position, and then I might start trailing. Now, that trailing might take me all the way to my 1.5 TP, or it might take me above that, or worst case scenario, in that other 25% where it actually goes backwards, and then I have the additional information in the strategy finder where I can actually say hit break even, or if I don't have break even, you can go past and it won't hit the stop loss, but it'll be a lesser number, yeah. So those are the additional tips I'll give to you guys, that I tend to do, because what you find is that that 25% you want to reduce that drawdown, and that might help you. Obviously the impact of that is that you don't get the full TP, but I tend to try to avoid losses where I can, so that that's one way of me doing my strategy. But okay, I'll stop this because I think you guys get the idea of what I was trying to say, yeah. The backtester doesn't have that capability to say actually if you've done a TP or a take partial halfway through what the strategy would be, but by running something like this at the end, you get the results. You can download them to CSV and you can look at the percentage profitable. You also might say actually I said 1.5 or 1.5 gave the best net return. What you might find is actually a stop loss of 1.1 and a take profit of 1.7 based on the settings we found is more profitable than the 1-to-1. But without running this, you're not gonna know. So I'll stop this because it ain't gonna run in time, yeah. So have I covered everything I wanted to? Yeah. So I've kind of talked to you about the basic setups. Let's take some questions because I'm aware that the Zoom I have doesn't have unlimited access, so it will shut the call down quickly. So if I go on to chat. Okay. Yep. 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 Yes, correct. Yes, correct. So there are limitations on this tester. Yeah, well, both ways. It can work both ways. Let me show you what I mean by that. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. So let me go to not this copy I've been messing around with, just to show you what I mean. I know exactly what you're on about. Let me go. Yeah, it normally evens out. So and I had a prime. So hopefully you guys can still see my screen. Yeah. So leave that. I don't know what I did there. So So here's one I found before. So look at that. If you put a grand in, longs only, you'll have 6,000 in 2.5 months. That's nice, yeah. We all wish, yeah. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the one I wanted to show you. I had a couple of examples. Okay, so this was it? No, this was a shit example. There you go. Whatever. Okay, yeah. So yeah, have a look at this. So there are limitations, as you call it. So look at this trade, yeah, and you can compare this trade as well. This trade is the interesting one. So if you have a look, he entered along in this position, and he went all the way to the wick went all the way to 1.4%. Yep. In this instance, he hit the stop loss. So this was one of the, one of the out of 3 trades. It was one of the losses. So the backtester would have said the loss. Now, as I said to you, backtesters don't take into wicks into consideration. Not that I'm aware of, and also they don't take partials into consideration. If you had done the, that clever maths and that finder that I've told you to do, you could have actually found out actually in my strategy. I know most of the times, actually, a wick or a candle close actually takes me to 0.9%. So if I had done a trailing start from 0.9%, I would have avoided that loss, if that made sense. Yep. Same again, like this one. Look, so here again. So this one was a loss, but actually, if you have a look at the wick, and if you you entered here, where did it go up to? So that wick, 0.9%. Yep. Yep. Just to give you an indication, other times, you had a straight win like that. That was a straight win. That went freaking. Where did it go? It went all the way up to, that it went to, something stupid. So this is the stupid thing. This it's a bit flawed how the black tester works. So if you have a look at the numbers, don't take it for granted, because it's saying 2%. Actually, we know our what's it called? Actually, I don't know actually what the setting is on this one. Sorry, this might be the 2% one. What was it? This one? This was oh yeah, this was take part. Yeah, 2%. So this has gone all the way to 2%. Yeah, but because this was 2 versus 1. So that's brilliant. Yeah, but if we had a trailing profit, I could have bloody hit all the way to that. Yeah. But that's the limitation of this, but that's not the tool, Josh. That's just how backtester TV works. Yes, so like I said, I do it by the tool, but I also do it visually as well. The other thing you need to do is you need to actually put it into the actual tool itself. What the hell is that? A gift from Zoom running out of time. Oh, we removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. Oh, love it, thank you. Where's it gone? So there you go. So what you need to do, I won't have time for this here, but if you put the actual settings in, then obviously you get the report. Yeah, the report is gonna, it's not gonna identically match up to exactly to this, but the key thing is put the settings in and see what the report says. Then you have to fine tune it and follow Jurs zooms, and he'll explain you how to fine tune it. But those should be minor touches, because what this strategy finder is giving you is the base settings, the base settings around, and that should give you the idea around what the best ATR settings is, what the best take profit stop loss is, what the best tread length is. Then it's up to, obviously, you have to use your experience, and you have to use a bit of finger magic to find the refined settings. But that hopefully makes sense to you guys. Any other questions? I can't get the finder stay in the extension menu, but maybe I can. So if you click on that little, hopefully you can still see my screen, extensions, then you just need to click on the unpin extension or the pin. Yeah, so I'm not gonna get, okay, hopefully that makes sense. Crypt. So unpin, pin. Now, the one thing I'll say for you is The only thing I am aware of is that, and when you click on extra settings, there is a date range. Put the date manually in the back tester, because I think at the moment there's a minor bug that needs to be fixed on this one. But other than that, if you put the date in the strategy tester, it works fine. Yeah, so just put the date here in the date settings. Yeah. So the key things you want to do in the backtester before you start any of this is make sure you have your date selected, make sure you have your leverage selected, and click on properties. Make sure the commission is selected. Yeah. Otherwise, the results you'll get is going to be meaningless. I think Jurs auto defaulted it, so the commission is correct. But this is the commission for Bybit on a 10 lev. So that's the higher what's called commission rate, yeah. And put your initial capital 1,000 because that gives you a good rounding number, so you can work out what your net profit is. Okay, guys. So that was quite a bit more lengthy walkthrough than I wanted to do, but hopefully that's explained how the tool works, how you can get to quite refined settings. I talked about splitting your charts, how make sure that your ATR length is ATR trend overall is the same between the two charts, so you don't conflict. I've talked about how to get more refined TP and SLs, so you can get a better understanding of where take partial is. Let's see, someone chatted. How do I get to chat again? I bloody hate this thing. No, not screen share. Chat. Any more questions? Excellent. Okay, good. So, any other questions? Otherwise, I'll close the calls, guys. But like I say, Josh and me are available on Discord. But it's very much like the profit strategy finder, but it's a bit more complicated because you have more options. Before I end the call, what I say to you is, Josh has done a good job. If I hide this, yeah, trying to group up the settings which you tend to run together. So you tend to run the length settings together, you tend to run the stop losses together, the BB settings together, and the ATR settings together. Yes, you can do them in combination, but you'll end up with so many multiple combinations, and what you don't want it to do is not get run it for hours and hours and then it for the timeout, yeah. But feel free if that works for you and you got lots of RAM, yeah, you can do that. The other shout I do is download that free tool that me and Josh have found, this one, Smart Save, because what that lets you to do is say I got this good settings and I don't want to lose it. I can click save, and that's it. Boom, that's saved in that extension. So I can click on that, go to my dashboard, and there you go. That's my settings saved. The 6,000. Don't look at my 2,000. That's my BTC that I made. So there you go. So that's saved now. So you'll never lose your settings ever again. Yeah. So it's got it all saved for you. Magical. Yeah, that's a free tool. Thinking fuzz. So the Smart Save is free tool. The Profit. Okay, so just over. Okay, so a PS Strategy Finder is free for anyone in the Profit Sniper group. This Smart Save is a free tool which you can find from the Google extension library. I think Josh has a link for that. And the last one is the new tool that I covered in this call. I recorded the video, and I think Josh is going to put that on his website just so you guys have it for information. He'll make you available of the the license, cost of to use this tool. There is obviously a free option, but like I said, the free option is limited to run one iteration, so you can only run one setting at a time. Yes, you can do that, but you're not going to get the best out of the tool. I'll be quite frankly with you, yeah. So you'd be running handicap, because you can run the stop loss and find out, yes, that's the best stop loss, but that doesn't mean that's the best stop loss with the combination of the TP, yeah. If that, I know that makes sense to you guys. Okay, guys. Brilliant. Okay then, guys. Good. Cheers all then. I'll end the call. Thank you all. Bye. Bye.